Hi guys, welcome back to Harry Makes Up. I hope you guys are all really well. Today I want to do something very glossy, healthy looking skin, very kind of summer, sun-drenched, kind of that really nice glossy, uber dewy skin. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my favourite Lancome Absolute cream. This one is the rich cream, which there's not a massive difference in how this makes my skin look compared to the normal soft cream. However, this one is more of like a stiffer, richer cream. So if you have excessively dry skin, I definitely recommend this one because, as you'll see, gives just as much glow as the normal one that I love. But I do find this one is even more intense. So if you have really dry skin, this is like the next level up from the soft cream. So even that alone just gives you the most incredible looking skin. Loving that. Now I want to share with you a base that I am really obsessed with at the minute. It was my favourite on Full Coverage podcast. And if you haven't been listening to Full Coverage podcast, then where have you been? Because on our last episode, we had the lovely Katie Jane Hughes. So I'll put a link to that down below if you want to hear her story, how she got into the makeup industry and what's next for her. That is all over on the most recent pod. But this was my highlight of the week. This is the Milk Makeup Sunshine tint, skin tint SPF 30. So a great one for summer. Now the Rollerball, I've had a lot of questions about this. I feel that the Rollerball is kind of more like a skin feature, so it's quite cooling, it's good for like lymphatic drainage. It is not, however, how I would apply the foundation and leave it at that. So you can see as I apply the foundation, it comes out of the Rollerball, so you click it like a pen. But the juice inside is just incredible, and I'm wearing the shade Sand. Now this is definitely a lightweight formula, so I'm going to take a buffing brush, the Sonia Kashuk one, and what I love about this is, especially when it's blended into a moisturiser, it's definitely a light coverage foundation. However, it just enhances any dewiness already on the skin, or if you like I do, a really glowy skin, that is exactly what this foundation is going to give you. So again, if you have really oily skin, perhaps try something like a Laura Mercier oil-free tinted moisturiser to achieve the same look. But for me, this really is a go-to foundation, and it's become my new favourite. Very lightweight, very comfortable to wear, and it makes skin look like skin. So I just take a little bit of extra through the centre. Now I do like it with a brush, but I also like this with fingers. So where I want a little bit more coverage is where I will start to just go in with fingers. So you can see how emollient my skin looks right now. It's such a gorgeous foundation. I just feel like it makes skin look so incredibly healthy and like you've just had a facial. So loving that. So for brows, a new favourite has to be the M Cosmetics Brow Cream. Now this is the first product I have found that for me works on my brows without me having to kind of do lots of work with a feathering pen, which I do love the effect of that as well. And when I have more time, that's my go-to. But this is the first brow gel I found, especially if you don't have many brows. Don't get me wrong, I love Glossier Boy Brow, I love my Hourglass one, but I feel like unless you already have quite a lot of brows, those products don't really give you more brows or hold them in place without them moving all day. This does just that. So I just kind of take the point off so there's not too much product there. And I'm just going to go into my brow, and this is all I'm going to use today for my brow. Like I said, it's very low maintenance, and I love that about this product. So where I have very little hair, I'm going to push the product against the hairs, so like go against the grain effectively, so that I build a little bit more of the cream there. And as this dries, you want to start not taking the strokes too high up. So you just want to make sure where you're applying, so you'll see it start to build very quickly actually. Again, just going against the grain on the corner where I have less hair. And just backwards and forwards. And it really does build a great brow. And the thing I love most about this product is once it sets, it really does set. It doesn't feel crispy or uncomfortable. But for me, or if you have little to no brows, you'll need something that does keep the brows looking bushy and pushed in an upright position that's going to hold. So it's just so good. Every time I use it, I'm like super wowed by it. So just curling my lashes so that they're ready for the next part of the eye look. Now, the product that I want to use on my eye today, and that I really think is a nod to kind of like an editorial makeup look that is fuss-free, easy, and very beautiful, and you don't got to worry too much about it, is a kind of nude tone eye gloss. Now this one is, I think you call it Hadaka, it's one of the Surratt ones, and these are the lid lacquers, which I absolutely love. I think they are second to none. You guys know I love the Gillian Dempsey lid tints, I think they're great. I love the MAC ones. I would say the Gillian Dempsey one's more sheer, and the MAC ones are very kind of full on the eye, like you'll feel it, whereas this one I feel is very comfortable. The way it settles, obviously it's a cream and it's a gel, so it's going to crease, but I feel like the way it creases, you still get the opacity of the pigment, which I really like. So I'm going to take this colour and I'm just going to do this with my finger, and it is just the most beautiful eye gloss. And I'm just taking that all over the lid. And what I love about this colour is it's opaque enough that it will take out any kind of veins or fatigue that are showing through on the eye. Now you could use a brush if you wanted to, but I kind of find fingers works perfectly. And as you get towards the end, you want to just start kind of sweeping back and forth. And I feel like for me this is a very wearable editorial look. And this colour, again, it just makes you look like really healthy. It's kind of almost like what MAC Groundwork does, but in a gloss form. And it's just so easy to do, like especially if you're on holiday and you're already sweaty and hot. I feel like this is just kind of going to work with that look, and it'll just look like it's meant to look like that. So you can see the really beautiful sheen. So for mascara, I want quite an intense lash to offset this, and I'm going to use this one by Revitalash Cosmetics. Now it has a primer that's blue, which I actually think is really good because I find white sometimes a little bit too extreme in terms of having to get all the coverage on a white mascara. So I think this one's actually really, really good. Can you see the sheen on my skin, guys? From the Milk Sunshine Tint, it's so good. So I'm just coating the tips, and this kind of gives volume and separates actually. I find it quite a good one for both those things. What I tend to do when I'm using a primer mascara like this actually is just give it like a moment to dry. So while that's drying, we'll do some concealer. And for that, I am going to take my Colourpop concealer, my no filter concealer. This one is cheap as chips. This is the shade Medium 24. And this does come in a lot of shades actually as well. And the brush I'm really enjoying using at the minute is this Sonia Kashuk one, which was from that set I bought from Target. That was very, very affordable. I have kind of some of my favourite drugstore products and dupes over on my IGTV. There is one of those, so go check that out. So I feel like you can kind of stamp with this, and because it's like a flat top kabuki for concealer, it's really, really good, like as opposed to a beauty blender or a buffing brush, just for kind of getting a bit more opacity with your concealer and pushing it in all at the same time. So let's go back to the mascara now. I'm going to take the black end, and the comb on this is really nice as well. I feel like it's very similar to my L'Oreal one that I love, but I found this as well doesn't give me panda eyes, so very, very impressed with this mascara. Can you see how good this mascara is? I feel like it really lifts my lashes as well actually. And obviously you want to make sure that you've covered any of the blue primer as well. So I'm just going to go in with a smaller mirror just to check. And I'm going to take a little bit of that as well on the bottom lashes. So I'm going to do lips because they're feeling quite dry, and I think this product's a really good one to put on now. This is Skinny Dip Lip Retreat Oil from Wonder Beauty, and I really like the shade of this. It's kind of a lip gloss oil, but the colour is really pretty. And I can blot this in as well if I need to. So next I'm going to go take my nude sticks in Bondi Bay, which is one of my ultimate favourites. It's so good. And I'm just going to add a bit of warmth, and I'm just blending it with my Hourglass Veil foundation brush, which is amazing. Sorry if you can hear Pad chomping on a stick. It's like having a child. I literally had to bring like toys in for him. So you can just see this starts to make everything look nice and bronzed. So then I'm taking some of the Gillian Dempsey, these are the cheek tints, and I have Sunny, this one, and Poppy. These are just such good shades. I'm going to start with my fingers, I think, with these. Now, what I think is great about these are they're very forgiving. So if you feel like when you use a cream blush, it's kind of quite intimidating to you, I think these are really fail-safe because their blendability is so good. So I'm starting with the shade Sunny to cheat that faux sun-caught glow. And if you want more tips as well, guys, on taking your skin to like a believable bronze skin, especially if you are more pale, I'll link that video somewhere up here as well, because I did do a video recently on kind of believable bronze skin, especially if you're starting from really, really pale, or perhaps it's the winter and you want to cheat that glow. And then I want to go in with Poppy, and this is a nice way to use creams as well to kind of not really contour but add shape and sculpt the face. So I'm going to take Poppy and I'm going to take this on. You guys know I love this brush because I keep talking about it. It is the Colourpop F5, and I'm going to take this and kind of do some quite precise placement just to add a bit of shape to the skin. So I tend to go kind of a bit higher than the middle of the apple. I'm just going to kind of sculpt a little bit. And again, because this is still quite a translucent colour, it just works so well on the skin. So this is where we start to get that really, really juicy, glowy skin. And I'm just making sure I'm kind of concentrating it on top of the cheek. For my final highlight, I am going to take the Glossier Play. This is the shade Pale Pearl, which is really nice. Now, I think as well, if you're working with quite dewy products like this, you're going to have a bit more playtime anyway with something that conventionally would set quicker. But I feel like with this, as long as you act with it quickly, so for me, it's kind of like a tap and roll product. And I find it will kind of blend things in a little bit more. So if you feel like at this point your blush still is a bit too intense, taking something like this just really makes it all come together a little bit more. I'm going to take a little bit on my nose, tapped in, a little bit on my lip. So very, very soft, very glowy. Now, I do want to add in a bit of definition to my lips, so I'm going to take the Urban Decay Glide On Lip Pencil in Insanity and just give myself a little bit more shape. So I feel like this really is kind of like that modern nude palette. So you just want a lip pencil that's kind of like one shade lighter than your natural lip. And then I'm just filling in with this like a lipstick on top of that Wonder Oil. If I were going to wear this out, I probably would add a tiny bit of powder. So I'm going to take my Chanel Loose Powder. But I say rock it without the powder as well if you like it this dewy. So I do. But if I wanted it to last a bit longer, I would just take, so I'm taking a little bit on an Hourglass brush, and I would just do a tiny bit here. I would do a tiny bit on my chin, and just a little bit there. And then sometimes, again, if you have very oily skin, it's quite good just to powder here a little bit, just lower down. So then the glow kind of stays focused on the high points and where you want it to be glowy. But that's it, guys. That is the finished look. Very, very simple today, but it's a look that I think I did do a while ago on my Instagram stories or an Instagram live, and the lives weren't working. So I just thought it was a nice one to do for a video. Great for a summer holiday. Very nice when you want to do something with like a slight editorial nod, but that's much more wearable. I have a video as well with kind of a more intense glossy eye using coloured glosses. If you'd like to see that, I will link that somewhere up here. That is definitely a more kind of bold statement look. But I think this is a very kind of fresh, modern approach to glowy, juicy skin, glass skin if you like, and it feels like a nice kind of like modern nude palette. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I would love it if you guys subscribe. Don't forget to check out the pod as well, and I'll see you soon for videos. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.